You know, I've looked at Michael's death certificates over 23 years and it says accidental death, and Michael's death wasn't an accident. They said, he's the property of the coroner. And I just said, I don't think so, mate. I said, he's my mother's son. I said, and I want to go and give him a kiss. He said, no, you can't. At the time of Hillsborough, sorry, I was a taxi driver, and but they say you have to be a social worker to be a taxi driver. After the disaster, I retained as a social worker, and when people come into our shop, which is totally voluntary, we try to signpost them to services to help them cope with what happened in 1989. You might have a favourite uncle who's a red, and he'll start taking you to the game, and then your other favourite uncle will take you, and you know, you become a blue. In my particular case, my mum was a red. Don't know why, but my mum was a red. My dad was a blue. My sister was a blue. Mike was a red, and I was a blue. I just got my car and drove to Sheffield, and I actually drove to the Levings Lane gates, and it was all being adorned with flowers and scarves, shirts, that kind of thing. People leaving messages of sympathy. And as I drove to the gates, there was a policeman standing on the gate. Gets out my car, and he actually told me to go away, but a bit more aggressively than that. And I just said to him, no. I said, I can't find my brother. And then again, he told me to F off. And I said, no. And I took my car keys out. And I threw my car keys over the Levings Lane gates. I said, so what are you going to do now? So he arrested me. So quickly, there was a bit of a kerfuffle going on, and I got taken to some police car. And when I explained what had happened, we had to then go and find my car keys, and we got my car, and he took me down to like a church hall where there was some social workers, police, that kind of thing, council workers. Again, I gave all the descriptions of Mike, 100% again. The police said, okay, no problem. They went away, they kept going to phones and coming back, and the social workers were taking more and more information from me. And I was still confident because, you know, they'd said all the dead were identified. And after about an hour, there was a policeman, and he just caught me at the corner of my eye, and he called one of the social workers over. And he walked back with the social worker, and he said, Mr. Kelly, would you be prepared to go and look at some bodies? All the dead have been identified. He said, no, there's a man and a woman. So I said, well, what do I want to look at a woman for, me, for my brother? I said, but if it helps clear up this mess, you know, I'll do it. I then met a group of detectives. So you knew then there was something serious going on. I mean, you know, the guys in suits and all this business. And then a policeman was sitting on a table, and he just reached and got a Polaroid photograph and threw it across the table. Didn't pass it, he threw it, and it spun like a playing card. And I had to physically turn it around, and there was a picture of my brother. That really is when the nightmare, because that's what it's been, began. I heard one story, and I don't wish to get too graphic, but of a young man who was actually trampling on someone, and he's had to live with that all his life. That when the crowd eventually dispersed, the person he was trampling on was dead. No, he doesn't know if it was him who killed him, whatever, but he's had to live with that. No, we try and support that lad, and he's in a terrible state. But it has bonded us all together, and we will always be there for each other. Because people have helped me so much over the years. I'll always be there for people, as people have been for me. You know, and that's what Hillsborough's done. It's created a fabulous spirit, I think.